Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the American Masterminds podcast.
Each episode, we invite extraordinary guests who are masters of their craft. They're innovators, entrepreneurs, and of course, motorcycle enthusiasts who have made their mark in the world.
They share their stories, insights, and hard-earned wisdom, giving you a front row seat to the strategies and experiences that shape their successes.
So sit back, grab a drink, and get ready for an exhilarating ride as we dive deep into the minds of these exceptional individuals.
Along the way, we'll uncover powerful strategies, gain fresh perspectives, and explore the limitless possibilities of what it takes to be an American mastermind. So part of being a prospect and your initiation into the club is to put on a charity, correct?
Yeah, some type of service project for the community.
And so, what do we got coming?
So usually the service projects, which I found out after the fact, is a pretty mellow thing. And nothing against it, and I'm not knocking anything. These are all righteous things. I've participated in a lot of them, and they were fun. I really enjoyed them, and I really loved the effect that it had. Like we did the fundraiser for the animal shelter out in Tooele, and we've done stuff like filling sandbags for because we had the flooding for Salt Lake City County and stuff like that. And that's all righteous stuff. I dig it. I was 100% for it. But me, I made the mistake of letting my ambition kind of just take over when they told me to pick something I'm passionate about.
I should warn you. So I talked to Gremlin,
yeah,
and he said, "Oh yeah, no, David's gone so far and above and beyond on this. Like he needs the media to put this thing on." So you're well on your way.
I appreciate it because this thing, it's honestly, it's grown into something bigger than I imagined it to be, and I'm beyond grateful for it. Amazing response from the public, amazing response from the club and the community, and even the support from you guys. I am so just like madly in love with the help that I've got for it. So the premise for this is I was standing in front of the table when I accepted my prospect tab, and they told me, hey, this is some of the responsibilities of being a prospect and yada yada. But one of them was, you need to come up with a service project. And I was like, all right. And then they released me from the meeting and left me to my own devices to kind of think through. And I had already come up with this before I even made it to the top of the stairs. I was like, I'm going to have a bike night, but it's going to be like a block party type thing. And so then something I'm really near and dear to me is, as you guys have probably figured out, this eye is really weird for you. That's because it's fake.
Okay.
I have a prosthetic left eye due to a congenital disease that I was born with. So I never could see out of two eyes, nothing like that.
Oh wow.
But I was raised like, okay, so what? That's a handicap to other people. Do you want it to be? And so I took that as a personal challenge as a kid, and I just ran with it. I didn't have a lot of resources to help me out. It was a very nuanced thing back in that day for trying to figure out, hey, what are the fixes for this and all this type stuff. And in the process, it ended up costing me an eye and nearly cost me my other eye.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So can you explain that a little bit for those that don't know?
So I was born with congenital glaucoma.
Okay.
So it's, everybody's used to hearing the word glaucoma and thinking, oh, old people going blind.
Sure.
Well, you can actually have that. It's a genetic disease that you either have that gene and it'll happen to you or not. And most people don't know it or realize it until they reach that age where the tissue and everything's wearing down. So, but me being, blessed with being born with it, it's ocular pressure. Like you just keep building up pressure in your eye. And so I went through a bunch of stuff where it was like every other week I'd go to the doctor and they'd stick a needle in the eye and drain fluid out and do all this different stuff. I'm one of the experiment kids where, everybody nowadays knows, hey, marijuana helps with glaucoma.
Right.
Yeah, I'm one of the kids that they experimented on to find that out.
No kidding.
Yeah, so like I was sitting but except for we didn't get it the cool way that they got nowadays. It was like in pill form. And so I'd be sitting there in school and they'd be like, okay, open your books up to page 32 and do questions 1 through 40, the odd ones. And everybody else is like, all right. And I'd just be like, and just zoning out. And about 5 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, we're going to that page and stuff. And so I would just like zone out. Like my response was like, people would be like, and something that surprised my mom and stuff with that, and why they pulled me off of it was because of my slow response with it. Because as Fuego knows, I'm sharp. Like my comebacks and stuff, like you cannot beat me at insults with the eye or anything like that. I'm like, I challenge anybody to it. Like if somebody can come up with something that I haven't heard, I'm like, my guy, I owe you a beer.
Trust me, I try.
You tried?
I did try.
Yeah. And you failed. But,
I'm miserably.
Keep going, man. Good effort.
Like,
But yeah, so that was my thing. Is I kind of just taken a passion to vision and safety and stuff, and being in public service and such like that. Also, it was really cool being a firefighter with one eye and seeing these kids and being like, oh wait, well he can do it, and he's got vision problems like I do, and so kind of leading by that example. But once I got out of that, and the weird part is, and I told my mentor today actually, is I was like, I've walked into burning buildings, I've held dying people in my arms, and I've fought those fights without even blinking. But doing what I'm building right here, I am scared to death of letting these kids down. Because so essentially what I've done is I've partnered with an organization here in Utah that helps the children and underprivileged children of Utah with getting free vision screenings, free EyeCare, free resources for them, their families, lots of underprivileged people. And the the organization is called EyeCare for Kids. Maggie, who's the executive director of Utah, is an amazing woman, and she is somebody that's a kindred spirit as me. Like just seeing her passion for it, I was like, oh, I'm excited. So I almost missed the opportunity to actually talk with them, because I had a list of vision charities, nonprofits that I wanted to go down, but I didn't want to let every single one of them know, and then all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, sorry, you're first come for your serve, all of you, psych, sorry. So
that makes sense.
So when I got hold of the first organization, and I'm not naming any names, but it kind of just flopped. Like they never got back with me. I kept showing up at business hours and their doors were always closed, and I'm like, okay, the clock's ticking. You guys don't seem to be as passionate about this as I am, so moving on.
Sure.
And then I walked into the clinic that's up here in Salt Lake and kind of talked with everybody. I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. And it was really weird walking into a clinic with a bunch of, little ladies in scrubs and everything. And I'm walking in, beard, all this. And I'm just like, hey, I'm here to help you. And they're just like, that's weird. And so one of them was like, okay, well, here's this lady's number and stuff. And then she's like, what is it you wanted to do? And I told her, and she's like, oh, no, you don't need that one. You need this card. You need this woman. And so Maggie got together, we had a meeting, and we created what's called SightNight.
SightNight.
Which is kind of a play on words for your bike nights or your block parties. But the biggest thing is it's not exactly a bike night either. So we're holding it down on August 19th at the Provo Town Center, the mall there on the south end. They're giving me the whole parking lot.
Oh, wow.
So I've got this massive area to do this with. And we're basically throwing out a whole bunch of stuff that's not just biker related. We're doing stuff for the kids. Like I'm working on face painting.
Bouncy houses.
Yeah, trying to get bouncy houses. I've got, it's going from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. I've got a local band that's doing live music the entire time. Because I told them, I was like, you guys just want to do a little bit? They're like, no, we've got a 4-hour set built for you. We've canceled family camping trips. We're in.
That's
and I'm just like, you guys are sick. So band's called Totem Rock.
No kidding.
And they do this era like from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, just all the big hits type stuff. Really cool stuff. And they were like, yeah, we'll do it for free. And I'm just like, I love you guys so much. So they're going to be there doing that. We're building a slow drag competition
Awesome.
So it's like your drag races, but for those people that don't know what it is we get on our motorcycles, and the goal is not to be the first to cross the finish line, it's to be the last. And you look silly as all get out trying to keep that bike going as slow as you
harder than
can.
you think it is.
Oh yeah.
Right?
And if you're inviting the, is it the Punishers? The LE?
I'm open for everybody. Like,
I'm
that's
hoping
the
they
thing,
come, but they need to be banned. We can't go against the cops. They know too much.
Well, that's the funny thing too. So what we're doing with the slow drag competitions, I've created a 50-50.
Okay.
So what the 50-50 is you come in, you pay your dues to get a part of the slow drag. Half of that, so the pot, so say we get $400 total for everybody involved in the slow drag. Half of that is going to go to EyeCare for Kids. And the other half of the pot goes to whoever wins the slow drag.
Awesome.
And so I'm stoked about that, see who's number one and stuff. Like, if it was me, I probably would just turn around and be like, hey, no, we'll give the rest to it. I just get to have bragging rights that I beat everybody here.
What's funny about that is if you put a little trophy together, guys would get more coup out of that than winning half the pot,
Right. So we're doing that. I'm working with some law enforcement to see if we can get some of the bike officers around to kind of do a ride and do a little stunt, like skills, not necessarily stunt, but a skills show for the kids. We're doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. I even got with this kid named Micah. Great guy. A lot of people down in Utah County probably know him, especially in the sports bike scene. Uh-huh. He's the only kid in the region with a mobile dyno.
Really?
Yeah. And Micah's in.
Whoa.
So Micah is going to be there with a mobile dyno to have everybody. If you go up to him, you pay him, you pull three pulls on the dyno and see what your numbers are.
That's awesome.
I'm stoked for Micah coming and being a part of that. I mean, I'm really happy that he's going out there and making that accessible to people. And then the other thing that I'm doing, because I want to help Micah as well, is anybody that comes and does that for him, I'm taking and setting aside one of our big raffle items, and that's going to be the prize for whoever pulls off the best numbers for the day.
That's awesome.
So whoever comes and helps Micah out and gets on the dyno with him, if you got the best numbers for that day, you might get a pretty sick prize. Is my goal with that. We've got a whole bunch of raffle items that we're doing. I've got, just to give some ideas for them, we've got a Buffalo Nickel tattoo shop down there in Springville, in the Connexes where Rick has the strap tank and all.
Yeah.
They've put in some coupons to help out, so there's some people that are going to win some stuff that way. I've got horse riding lessons that we're working at getting arranged for people. I've got theater tickets to the Sierra movie theater. We've got cycle gear is throwing in on it.
Nice.
I'm talking with AJ over at Indian. We're probably going to have some raffle items thrown in there. One of them that was thrown out there, but I'm not sure if it's going to be there or not, because I still want to get with him, but I'm kind of excited for him as he threw out the idea of potential one of the raffle items might be a free Indian rental. You know, like they do those rentals.
Yeah,
so for
that
like
would be cool.
A day Indian rental or a weekend Indian rental, something like that. Now, don't hold me to that because AJ and I are still trying to work that out.
AJ, if you're watching, you've got some work to do.
Well, if AJ knows, anyone that's ever rented an Indian that I know has bought one shortly after.
Absolutely. They turn around.
1, 2.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like my girl's been eyeballing the Indians and stuff. And she goes, because she's wanting to get a 2-up. And I told her, I'm like, well, the only one I'm wanting is that the 2022 Jack Daniels Dark Horse Challenger.
You go. Hell yeah.
Right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And now she's made it her mission to go find that bike.
Oh, man.
And I'm just like, all right, this is a win for me, so I don't care.
I hope she does. I hope to God she does. That is a sick bike.
Right. But we've got like a lot of local companies that are coming out of the woodworks to help us out with it. I've got on my Facebook event, so if you go and you search for SightNight and you scroll through, you're going to see a kid in this like dope ass helmet and stuff and
goggles
and goggles and all. So that's kind of our little banner for it. But you find that event and I post up a lot of stuff, videos talking about it, kind of getting the word out there for props to companies. Like I've got Dragon's Keep, which is a tabletop board game comic book company that's been in Utah for like 33 years or so. Down in Utah County, there's like 4 different locations and they're all like, yeah, we're in. So there's going to be some really cool stuff. I mean, I'm like a little closet nerd, so I'm just like man, I want that.
That's awesome.
But I'm not putting in on the raffle or anything because I don't want it to look like I'm
that depends on what's there, I guess, you know.
Right. Yeah, like, but it was really cool. I've got like the fellows are putting in for some haircuts and all sorts of things. We're getting a massive amount of support from the community. I'm trying to hit up a bunch of other places because, like I said, I don't want this to just be swag for the bikers. I want this to be like for the families.
Sure.
Like the movie theater tickets or not the movie theater, but the plays. I was like, dude, that'd be awesome for like mom and dad to just be like, hey, we're leaving in the kids with the babysitter and let's just go enjoy this and stuff. So we're trying to do a bunch of stuff like that. We've also got a ride that we're organizing to try and do in the morning. That one, it's going a little different than what most people do dues wise because we're asking for $35 for every bike. So It doesn't matter how many people fit on that bike. If you can fit 3 people on that bike, whatever, it's $35.
Don't get any ideas, Fuego.
Right. Well, I mean,
I'm gonna have to make a phone call now.
plans are canceled. No, so the reason why Maggie and I chose $35 and why that's such a key note for SightNight is $35 gets one kid a free vision screening and corrective lenses.
That's amazing.
And I'm just like, man, with
$35, dude.
Yeah,
$35.
Yeah. So for me, I'm like, I have insurance and corrective lenses and such. And if I went out to try and get glasses, I would probably be having to take a loan out on my bike to be able to do it. So for $35 to help it out, I mean, and I know how hard it is, you know, being a parent and having, you know, strapped for cash and stuff and trying to do what's best for your kids. But there are a lot of stuff out there that people will think that, oh, they're just not paying attention, they have ADHD or something like that. And the reality of it is like, sorry, your little one just can't see that far. And so they're just like, well, whatever's over there does not interest me, so why do I care?
You know, there's something to that I don't think anybody, we live in a pretty privileged place here in Salt Lake. You know, in terms of cities, it's a very good city.
It is, yes.
Our inherent charity is Thanksgiving Heroes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And the one that comes away from that, and this was a few years ago, I don't know what it is currently, but 20% of kids won't get a meal if they don't get it from school.
Yeah.
And if you put this on the priority list, kids need glasses. Okay, if they're 20% aren't getting a meal, do you really think they have the ability to go get glasses?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And these are foundational things. We need to make sure kids can see what they're doing. You know,
Exactly.
they're going to fail in
absolutely
school.
agree.
Like the trickle down from not being able to see is massive.
I mean, it's wild. Like for me, for the first like few years of my life, we couldn't afford glasses, couldn't afford anything. My vision without corrective lenses, I am so nearsighted that without my contacts or without my glasses, everything just looks like just a oil painting, just this weird Rorschach's just blob of colors, if it's not that far from my face.
Wild.
And so I didn't know, like I would hear noises and I'm like, what's that? What's that? What's that? And I know my parents kind of describe it to me, but I never really understood what they meant. And then my mom, she even said, like, the first time I got my glasses and when she was driving, she was like, I didn't know whether to be annoyed or just overjoyed because, like, every time we do, I'm like, that's a tree? That's what that looks like? That's what an eagle looks like? That's what a sparrow? Or I'm like, that's what a Chevelle looks like? Like, I was like, this is new to me, just like all these different things. Because I'm like, one of my favorite things, like when I was a kid, is like motorcycles. One of the first things I attributed to is I would sit there and hear the rumble, and I'm like, what's that? And they're like, oh, that's a motorcycle. It's, you know, that's a Harley. It's like a bicycle, but it's got an engine on it. Yeah, it's like a bicycle, but it's got an engine on it. And I'm just like, what? And then the first bike I saw, I was like, yeah, I want one of those, like stuff. So it's like, so that's part of the passion for me is I want these kids to experience the world that we all are in, that we share. And let's be honest, man, everybody here in Utah, whether they realize it or not, and I have been all over this country, all over other countries, just traveling and living and jumping around either with the military or my own personal adventures. And Utah has so much. I just keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
And for these kids to miss out on seeing
the
all
mountains,
that.
you know,
Oh my
like
gosh.
it's
Just nature, dude.
everything.
Dude, it's just something that I'm like, I need to do something. And so when they told me, hey, your service project has to be something you're passionate about, I'm like, well, there's one thing that I'm more passionate about, like, you know, passionate about motorcycles, but there's only, you know, a couple things that are bigger than that. And it's eyesight is really, really important to me. And so when I came across Maggie and EyeCare for Kids and the staff and the team there, I was like, oh my gosh, these people get it.
That's awesome.
And they've been doing amazing work, and they've been just out there just pounding and putting in the service and doing their mobile clinics and doing all this stuff for not just schools but public centers and stuff like that. And they're just trying to get everybody involved with it. I think they partnered with a lot of the one of the immigration organizations and stuff out here to kind of help some people that have just came over here and with those opportunities. And I'm just like, let's do this. Like, let's just rock it.
Absolutely. All right, I gotta ask, what else?
Yes.
What else do you need?
So my big things that I need right now is, honestly, I'm trying to go as big as possible. So I need vendors that want to show up. I'm not even charging vendors to show up. My thing that I've told most of them is like, hey, be here, turn out for it. If you guys want to give a percentage, go for it. If not, whatever. But let's kind of just get this. Let's start turning some heads. So I want vendors to
What kind
kind
of
of show.
vendors are you looking for?
Well, local. Any like local organizations and businesses. Like I know you guys wanted to show out and
Yes.
stuff like that. I've got some people that do like Mama B's crafts. And this woman, she does amazing little craft stuff, from like little coffee sliders to clothing and mugs and all this. So she's working on being there. I've got this little young lady that I'm trying to. Hopefully she'll reach back out to me, but she's her family's from Argentina, and it's an amazing setup that she does, in which she's creating this children's book that is so cool. Picture Alice in Wonderland, but with like the Latino culture, like the lore and the superstitions and everything to it. And her art style is gorgeous.
Huh.
And so I'm hoping I can get her out there to kind of get some spotlight on her. I want to get anybody, like I'm going to try to have Indian and Harley and them turn out, obviously.
Sure.
But any local company that supports this, like whether they want to do raffle items, whether they want to do monetary donations. The other big win for them is, like I said earlier, we are a nonprofit, both EyeCare for Kids, and we have a nonprofit entity that we're attached to. So anybody that wants to donate organization-wise, we're 501c3. We're tax exempt. We can give you the paperwork to help you guys out. So, I mean, at that point, from somebody who's, you know, building his own company, I'm like, why not? This is a good way of helping the community and stuff. I've got a mobile mechanic, AGK, that does everything from heavy equipment down, and you know, semi trucks, diesels, cars, motorcycles. I mean, if your lawnmower needs some work, I'm sure he'll help out. But one of the cool things that he's done is he reached out to me and he goes, hey, if anybody comes to me and just says, hey, SightNight sent me, then he will donate $50 for every $200 that he makes.
Wow.
So if it's a big project, from whether it's a client contract with an industrial or whether it's down to just average Joe that needs his oil changed or whatever, if he makes $200, $50 of that goes to EyeCare for Kids and to these kids.
Oh wow, that's incredible.
And so I'm stoked for that type of support from the community, and I want it to keep going, because my thing is, and I've told these guys, I'm like, honestly, I started this as a service project, but now it's become bigger than what I could have even dreamed of, and I'm hoping it keeps getting bigger. And if this turns out as big as I want it to be, and as I hope it to be, and as I know like the community can do, club or not, I'm making this an annual thing.
Yeah, sure.
I want to make this something that we can keep these kids, going and help them out.
Absolutely.
Because just like I looked at Rogue Souls and found them as righteous dudes, I see the noble cause and the righteousness that EyeCare for Kids is doing. and I want as many people to go check them out and see what it is. We have, so in my Facebook event and stuff as well, but they have their own website, EyeCareForKids.org. But if you go to EyeCareForKids.org/SightNight-fundraiser, you get a landing page that they created for this event as well within their own organization. So it's not just me sitting there being Joe Blow trying to monkey my way through this, with one eye, half blind on it. So instead of me sitting there being like, I don't know what I'm doing, I've got people that are like, hey, we got you, we're in. And so the more awareness that we can bring to EyeCare for Kids and bring to their cause, I'm all for it. And obviously I want to raise as much money as I can, because I did make at the beginning of it, when everybody asked me like, well, what's your goal? And I'm like, 1,500 kids. I want to help 1,500 kids. Whether I can do it this year or not, it's to be seen. But I will tell you, I'm going to keep doing it every year until I can get that 1,500 kids taken care of. And then after that, it's going to get bigger, because
Absolutely.
Why not?
Absolutely.
And so the more people get involved with it and the more people help me out with it, then awesome. But yeah, anybody that organization-wise wants to, you can find us through the Rogue Souls Motorcycle Club, or you can find us through the SightNight event. You'll see it. Like I said, it's got that kid with the helmet, and it says SightNight, a fundraiser, done, presented by the Rogue Souls for EyeCare for Kids and all that stuff. But reach out to me through there. Reach out to me through email. If you're an organization, you can reach out with my email address is a scrappaperstory, all one, no space. So it's a scrappaperstory@gmail.com. I answer every email I get, unless you're spam, then I just block it. So may the odds be ever in your favor. Yeah. Oh, well,
In Spanish.
somehow I made the mistake, and he got my phone number. So.
Terrible idea.
Yeah, terrible idea.
He's the one that wants the Cholo bike.
Even got the license plate coming, my guy.
Uh-huh.
But like I said, my passion for this is not just for the bikes and not just for the kids, but I want the community to kind of, let's do this.
Absolutely.
Like, let's get everybody.
Just to make it fun for everybody.
Exactly. Like, I'm even tomorrow, and if you can hear me, Provo Fire Department, near East Bay, I'm coming for you, because I want to talk them into something that I used to do for our fundraisers, and I'm going to see if we can pull it off. So if there's any company with a dunk tank, I need you ASAP, because I want to do.
I have a guy.
Good, because I want to do a dunk the chief.
Okay.
We used to do it all the time. $5, 5 balls, dunk the chief. And if I can get the fire department in on that, I am. As a fellow smoke eater, I loved seeing the incitement in the kids to, watch a bunch of firefighters just like get silly and get dropped. So yeah, if you can help out with that, dude, that would be amazing. Because
I've got 2 contacts. I'll call and see if we can find
yeah,
one.
because that's my highlight. Everybody else is excited for stuff like the slow drag. I'm like, I want to throw balls and drop another firefighter.
There you go.
like I'm excited about that. So if I could pull that off, but we're having all sorts of stuff. We've got food trucks that are coming. And
If
like
there's any other food trucks that wants to come over.
The more the merrier. If you
Yeah,
get the
exactly.
whole parking lot,
Dude,
you're almost to a point you
absolutely.
need to fill the place.
Absolutely.
And make it look like a big event.
I've got Automotive Addiction. He is the owner of that. He's such an awesome guy. He's actually grabbing some of his best cars, and he's going to bring them out and do like a little mini car show. So you're going to have like supercars and all this stuff out there. And then I'm roping off an area for everybody that brings a bike. So bring it all nice and polished and shine. So it's going to be special parking for motorcycles / a bike show for
There you go.
Yeah.
There you
and
go.
stuff like that. So I'm trying to make it just as big and as fun as we can for everybody.
That's awesome. Truly, that is awesome. That's really cool. Do you have something?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. I thought you were flying me down. That's
We'll stay quiet then.
yeah. We didn't hear from
Co-host,
you anyway.
host.
Right. He's just like, you're doing a good job at number one. He's like,
That is really cool, and I love that it has a personal story to you. I can obviously feel your passion for this. It's palatable, you know. That's really cool. I'm trying to think and rack my brain. I've got 2 that I prepared for, so I'll give you the contact that just want to be sponsors of it.
That's awesome.
I think we've got the dunk tank. I might have another food vendor for you, and we'll see.
Yeah.
And I've got an apparel gal that will absolutely for sure be there and set up a booth. So
Nice. I love it.
I'll make the calls and everybody I've got, and we'll put the alert out, the bat sign, if you will.
Heck yeah.
I'm too excited. I need to talk. I haven't talked all night, but you probably, I don't know if you've looked at media coverage yet. I could probably get you some media coverage, get some like ABC4, Fox 13,
Oh, no
get
kidding.
some of the news outlets out there.
That would be amazing. Yes.
Flyers? Do you have flyers?
So I do have flyers. I've got some digital flyers I can get emailed to you guys. I can email them to any company that wants them as well.
Sweet. Okay.
Right now they're digital because I kind of have been running out of the ones that I printed. And those were honestly the ones that I did print. Thank you to the UPS store in Orem for that one. Those were me being too anxious, and I kind of just scrambled those things together in like a 10-minute lunch break, and so they're not as professional as they should have been. But I do have a media woman that does graphic designing and stuff, so she created some amazing flyers that we're going to have up at the mall. We're getting stuff up on their digital billboard. They're working on putting them in the Daily Herald and stuff with that.
Awesome.
But anybody that wants copies of the digital flyers to put wherever they want on their web pages or to print out and post up at their shops, whatever, absolutely, just hit me up. I am more than willing to share all the information. I can get you links to EyeCare for Kids. You can check out Rogue Souls. You can check out our events and such, because like I said, I want this to be big. Like I want all of Utah to turn out if they can, and it's because, you know, it's for these kids type stuff.
Yeah.
That's my thing. It's like let's get them looking at our world, man. Like let's not be greedy.
I love that. Yeah, I definitely want the PDF for the flyer.
Yeah,
I work for a state agency that is over 2,000 individuals, so if we could get that, I'd love to get that out to all of them and see how many of those guys we can have to show up.
That's awesome. I love you guys. This is great.
If you want, I can also do photo and video coverage of the event and then just give you all the footage from that as well. Maybe do some edits there.
Dude, that would be great.
Hobby shops, I could probably get a few hobby shops to show up.
Dude, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
like
that would be
I'm
cool.
working. I know I got donations from Dragon's Keep, but I know Seth over there, one of the owners, I know he gets pretty slammed with stuff, so I'm not sure if they're going to be able to turn out. But, but if you can hear me, Seth, get your butt there.
So like West Valley Hobbies, Vortex, dude, like I'm just thinking about toys for kids. Like,
dude, let's do it. Yeah,
I think that'd be cool.
That's a big thing. Like I've been trying to hit up a bunch of places like that. Like I'm trying to hit up. I think tomorrow I'm gonna go talk with. There's some like swimming lesson like schools that are down there. Honestly, I want to see if I can get like a family pass to Lagoon for a day.
That'd be
and
cool.
Cowabunga Bay. Like I'm trying to hit up things like that. Like I wanted to just not just be little tiny one-offs for like, oh hey, here's this kid. Like I'm about to go in all my glorious beard and my cut, and I'm gonna go walk into some of these little ladies' spas and go be like, hey, you guys want to help out some of these mamas?
There you go.
That's great. I love it.
Yeah, so I'm shameless. Like I'll be like, look, you guys can paint my nails if it gets you guys like donating to this thing. I don't care. Like, I straight up don't care. I am shameless. No shame at all.
Maybe even we can get some items to raffle for like toys.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Right,
for kids or stuff like that.
I have a guilty addiction of RC trucks.
Yeah.
And so I think we could definitely. I have enough sway in that community. I think we could get some good stuff.
You know what?
Awesome.
I will love to take advantage of you guys right now. Nicely. Sorry. Unless you want something different. You know what? One thing that we want to do, but we haven't been able to achieve yet, is maybe if we can get somebody to help us to put a pin.
Oh, yeah. Let me pull this up. I want to show you.
I have an enamel pin contact.
No kidding, dude.
Yeah.
You're my guy.
And I can do the
contacts.
Yeah, you've got local engraving.
Yeah.
My person isn't local, but we could definitely get them in time.
Okay.
And I could do a design for it too, unless you guys. I mean, if you probably have a logo or something put together already, we could just do that and use that.
I do. So here's the cool part right here. I'll show this to you guys. So you're gonna see this. This is one of the flyers that Vera created for me, and she took Seymour, the mascot for EyeCare for Kids, and kind of zhuzhed him up and bikered him up. So this little crest that you guys see in that top corner, that's this year's logo for SightNight.
Oh, nice.
And so everybody that's brought this up, like the button idea and the pin idea was Fuego's thing, because he looked at that and he's like, that is absolutely a pin.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we're doing that, and then every year, my goal is like every year, Seymour and stuff is going to stay there, but we're going to change it up a little bit. But yeah, I was really, you should have been around when she created that and she sent it to Maggie and I was like, oh man, like all the women around saw that and they kind of just melted, and me, I'm just like, whoa. I was like, this is so awesome. I'm like, it's just being a big kid for me is doing this. Like, it's like, heck yeah, just fun.
That's awesome.
The other thing that looks perfect for maybe pins, and then I don't know if you thought patches. We could do patches too.
No kidding.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Dude, I'm in.
Right.
Let's do it.
Beautiful.
Let's do it. We can sell, like, I got no problem with doing some pins and patches for people, and maybe even selling them for those that want to get involved. Mm-hmm. I'd give them to anybody that signs up for the ride and stuff. We're still working on the layout on what we want to do, because I understand it's August. I understand, like, everybody's, coming back from all the, stoked for the Sturgis stuff, and
right.
And you've got the Four Corners rally, and then the law enforcement unit for the fallen officers, like, announced after I did all this. So August 20th is their fallen officers ride.
19th,
we are
right?
the 19th.
Okay. Yeah.
We were looking at that last night, actually.
Yeah. So it kind of threw me for a loop. So I'm like, all right, well, adapt and overcome.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things that we're looking at doing is, I want to maybe do a ride in the morning early while it's cool, get the riders out enjoying it, nothing too wild, and just kind of an escorted ride by some rogue souls. And so you get to ride with some of my Dutch brothers. Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we kind of doing pretty decent with it. I feel like we're okay.
Yeah. It's actually a lot of fun.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what they're talking about, we ride in a big group, and they will run as gunners that run up to the side, and they'll shut down an intersection so the group doesn't have to stop. So the group's moving at a snail's pace, not a snail's pace, but a nice, easy, comfortable
you're riding
way.
your own ride.
And then you've got the rogue souls running right down the side, going 900 miles an hour, stopping the traffic. And it's always so funny because these cars get out, but then big old bikers with patches on it. They're just, no, I don't think so. You're going to stay right there.
I literally got goosebumps the first time that I rode and watched you guys do traffic control. I was so giddy about
Well,
it.
that's the funny thing with bikers. I mean, we are well organized and we focus on safety.
Yes.
So we have a road captain, we have a tail gunner, we have blockers. So it's really organized and safe.
Right.
After that event, I spent like hours on YouTube learning everything about how you guys break off and like whose job it is to do what. It's rigid.
Yeah. That's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. Is they're like, okay, there's a lot of moving parts to this that people don't realize what's going on. They just think, oh, here's a bunch of guys ripping throttle, but the reality of it is our priority as Rogue Souls for the community that participates with this stuff with us. We want you guys to have a blast, enjoy yourselves, ride your own ride, obviously, but also get home.
Right. And keep both the wheels on the ground.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like we've had some people that try and do showboating that puts people at risk, and they don't even make it to the end of the ride. We're like, sorry, this isn't your place for it.
Right.
We want these people to get home to their loved ones just like we want you to. But yeah, we go about all that. I'm planning for doing it probably in the morning, being a pretty decent ride, but not one that's going to like tax you too much. And then give you the time to go home, enjoy time with your family, gather them up, maybe wash the bugs off the bike from the morning.
For the bike show, of course.
And then show up and kind of have fun. Like get that bike up on the dyno or get out in the slow drag. Like show us your skills. Like everybody can rip fast. Let's see you crawl that puppy.
It's way harder. I promise. It's way harder to go slow.
But it's so fun. It's so fun.
It is fun.
Like everybody that I've seen, even that gets involved in it, is like, I'm not good. They're just like, by the end, they're just like, oh, this is a blast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, I've even flirted with the idea of me getting in there with those big bars and kind of
see what we can get done.
Well, I mean, Fuego's seen me. I can get that thing to a pretty slow crawl, but I'm not.
Okay.
You know,
I
but
tried,
it's a big
but
bike.
I couldn't.
It's a big bike.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But no, that's the thing is I want it to be a party, and I want it to be for everybody that, you know, not just has bikes but loves bikes, but also the people that just love their community.
Absolutely, and I like what you're doing. You go to some events and it's just the motorcycle ride, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I like your idea to make it's a block party first. We're here for kids.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And then the motorcycles are here in addition to that. That's a brilliant idea.
Absolutely. And everybody that gets involved, I guarantee you that if you go to that Facebook event and you look at it, like, I am not missing anybody. Everybody's getting a shout out on the Facebook, any way we can, media-wise, for them. I mean, and even at the event, I'm going to be like, hey, you know, you guys got to go give some thanks and give some love to these people because, you know, like I said, I can't do it without them. So.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Well, fellas, I think we've got exactly what we came for. We're gonna help. We're gonna do everything that we possibly can.
I appreciate
we'll
so
put
much.
We'll put all of our feelers out there.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've got a couple coming as it stands.
Heck yeah.
And I know we've got more contacts that we'll help.
Dude.
We'll do everything we can.
We'll really appreciate it. The
So-
kids will really appreciate it
Yes.
as well.
Just knowing you guys are just as, you know, your hearts are in it too. That's awesome. I appreciate that so much.
I can see the excitement on those faces.
Well, after
Even that
him
way.
talking about it, you know, you can't help but get a little excited about it, and your brain's turning, who can I call to help? And, you know, so I'm sure.
And that's the thing. I mean, he's organizing this, and I'm like, I'm gonna call these guys.
Yeah.
So we're all helping.
Yeah, he's actually, you know, like, I know everybody's like, oh, Dave, this, and I'm like, no, me sitting right here, right now, talking to you guys, that's Fuego.
No, that was
that's
all
this boy
Fuego.
right here.
Yeah.
That is all Fuego. I want people to understand that me, and I've told them several times. They're like, oh, Dave, this is big, this is great. And I'm just like, okay, cool, but I want everybody to understand, if my name is never on any of this, if nobody even remembers who I am at the end of this, awesome. I'm fine with that. I want to be a nobody in this. I want it to be EyeCare for kids. I want these children to be the focus. I want them to be the spotlight.
That's awesome.
It's cool that the club and Rogue Souls has their stuff on it, and it's amazing that these companies are in it, but I want EyeCare for kids, and I want this nonprofit and this vision thing to be the first and foremost, and then after that, I want the companies and the people that made this possible, I want them to get the recognition, because yeah, I came up with the idea, but let's be real. We all come up with ideas that go nowhere.
I think that's one of the things that makes it really cool is you did have this idea. I know it's a prompt from the club and kind of what you're doing, but even Gremlin, he said, oh no, you don't understand. This thing's going so far over the top of what everybody else has done. It, like, you're setting a real high bar for future prospects for sure.
Well, dude, here's the thing. Even if the next prospect wants to do a soup kitchen, man, I am 100% in. I don't care, dude. As long as we're doing something for the community and you're a righteous dude and you're doing righteous deeds, awesome, man. I'm all in. As invested in it as much as I am in this.
Well, your passion's going to be hard to match by anybody, and it's like I can feel it. I got goosebumps talking about it. So that's really cool. It really is. And I fully get the impression that this is, like you're saying, this is way bigger than you wanting recognition or anything like that. This matters to you a lot, and that's awesome.
Well,
and that's something to get behind.
I appreciate it, guys. Like, it's humbling. I really do. I appreciate you all.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you
We're
for
going to get
having
this
us.
out, and we're going to try to get as many eyeballs on this as humanly possible.
Dude, I
So
love it.
it's awesome.
Thank you, guys. Really.
Absolutely.
I can't say it enough. Thank you all.
Cool.
We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we're going to have you guys on again, and we'll have some more
Oh, for
fun
sure.
talks and whatnot, but let's take care of business first.